to consider.
Thanks, Joe. One of the things that you want to look at is obviously there are some companies that have already moved into that space and aren't taking full advantage of it. But there are quite a few companies that when you approach them and you talk about e-commerce and they say to you, well, we don't see the benefit to it, you can come back to them and show some significant return on the investment for the platform, right? So a lot of those cases are companies that primarily service a local market that could benefit from moving to a national or a regional or an international market. And another, reaching of scope, right, is basically what the advantage that the e-commerce gives you. Ease of processing the transactions, automation of processing transactions, where they may feel like, there's the investment in processing those transactions requires them to hire additional people and get sales reps for those other areas. You can show them how, with appropriate content, they can move some or all of their offering onto the web and get an automated transaction in place and generate a significant amount of revenue without a significant amount of increase in size of their staff or organization. Some of the other things that, just from the projects that we've seen, and we'll talk more about this later, but if you have a specialty company that services a local geographic market and they're a brick and mortar, you show them how getting onto the web and getting an e-commerce platform up and running expands their audience exponentially and allows them to have that many more people evaluating their product. So, one of the companies we'll talk about is, Printers Row Books, where, they have very specialized products used in rare books that, traditionally people had to walk into the store and see those to be able to evaluate them. Now they've got an online platform where people can get significant information, get a look at the cover and the condition of the book. They can get some, history of the piece, the provenance of it, and it allows thousands of people to look at something where maybe only 10 people would see it if they had to physically walk into the store. Generalists that don't have such a specific market can still benefit from ease of inventory turnover, change up of their inventory and offerings. They can adjust their pricing more rapidly to meet market demand. The cost of acquisition for customers drops significantly for them versus traditional marketing. And it opens options for things like a recurring revenue model where they may not have been able to offer that without an automated platform to process things through for them. So those are just kind of some of the things to consider when you're deciding who you can present this to and what the advantages are for those companies. So then what we'll do is I'm going to turn this over to Frank, who's going to talk about some of the strategies to consider when you're presenting these things.
Well, one of the key things you need to do is make sure to select the appropriate e-commerce platform or an appropriate platform, such as Mediachase. You want to know your tools to be able to cross-sell and upsell customers. And most importantly, you want to configure the analytics correctly for your website. Just putting out an e-commerce platform is usually not enough to succeed. You have to know what the return is on your marketing efforts. Be able to determine the conversion ratio for your pay-per-click campaigns or your postcard campaigns or your email blasts, and be able to rearrange your website such that people are finding the appropriate goods and services. So yeah. Oh, and finally, I would say know what information you're exposing. This is something that's particular to media retailers where you're selling MP3s or books. You have to make sure that your platform is very tightly integrated and that you're not just exposing your valuable data out there to the web.
Great. Thanks, Frank. Thanks, Greg. So to follow on what both of them were just talking about, we want to highlight a couple of areas that will be important to any e-commerce strategy and any e-commerce platform that you want to be able to consider. The first of those is managing your actual products, your offerings, and your inventory. So the importance of being able to do this and selecting the right e-commerce platform to enable this is so that you'll no longer have to worry about working with either spreadsheets or outdated legacy systems. A truly robust e-commerce platform is going to offer you import and export tools, the ability to upload and update your catalog on either an automated or bulk basis, be able to dynamically manage your prices across different channels or different customer groups. And this is really going to provide you that consolidated place to store your catalog information that can then be accessed by other systems. So that notion of integration is something we'll talk about in a little bit more detail later, but it'll be important that when you have your catalog set up in your e-commerce platform, that you'll be able to access that catalog data from other applications, whether those be your accounting systems, whether those are QuickBooks, or you have an ERP solution or another accounting solution in the back end that'll be able to access that information. And arguably, the catalog is going to be the most important part of your e-commerce platform, the thing that you should spend the most time on, because there's so much that is driven from how your catalog is structured and the data that is contained within that catalog. So it'll be extremely important, regardless of what e-commerce platform you select, that you make sure you take the time to think about how to structure that catalog, because that's going to affect things like search. You need to make sure you have the right data associated with your products and different product types, that you'll be able to handle different types of promotions, different types of merchandising. So all of those things are going to end up as being driven as a result of how you structure that catalog. So it's important to make sure you spend plenty of time thinking about that and planning that on the front end. And another thing, particularly about the ECF and really what you should make sure you have with whatever platform you select, is that your e-commerce platform should be able to support virtually any type of products. So whether you're selling physical goods like actual physical books or music or DVDs or whatever it might be, or you're doing digital downloads, whether that's music or videos or ebooks, or you're doing things like events. I know many sort of booksellers and media retailers oftentimes have either musicians or authors or whoever it might be come into their physical store to do readings, presentations, whatever it might be. And you may want to actually have people sign up for those. So the important thing is that you have a platform that is flexible enough to support these different product types. And that's certainly something that the ECF does, but it'll be, and it does it very well, very seamlessly, and actually allows you to support these different product types without really having to do any development, without needing to be technical. And another thing to point out as well is that with these different product types, they don't all necessarily have to be sold. It doesn't necessarily have to be e-commerce in the traditional sense. You may be offering either digital downloads or events that are simply just for marketing and purposes to get people in the door and get people excited about other products. So you can have essentially digital assets, whether those be podcasts or videos or anything like that, that are associated with a book or an event or a DVD that, again, will provide richer content to your customers, again, and then sort of entice them to come into your store or to make a purchase online. The next thing to talk about, again, sort of a follow-on from the catalog itself, is how do you then entice those both new customers as well as your old customers. Something that, an interesting sort of anecdote that we came across and we talk about with a lot of the people that we work with is that about 65% of customers, more or less, refuse to pay retail price for a product that they're going to purchase online. And this makes it very important to make sure that whatever e-commerce platform that you're going to select is going to offer you the tools and functionality to be able to support different types of promotions, discounts, and coupons. It's certainly something that the ECF does extremely well, and you can have different types of customer segments, marketing campaigns, which those segments can be targeted through, and then you can have almost unlimited types of discounts. So those can be percentage or value-based. You can have discounts that are exclusive to one another. You can use coupon codes so you can then track the performance of those discounts. But the important thing is going to be that you have whatever platform you select is going to have the proper tools and functionality to be able to enable you to market your products and to be able to offer unique and compelling discounts, coupons, and promotions. Another thing to keep in mind is the actual store and site itself. One thing that we'll talk about with some of the examples that we'll show a bit later on is the idea that you want to be able to keep your content up to date so that your messages, your branding are all current, and that you're offering the latest information to the people that are coming to your website or to your e-commerce store. So it'll be an important point to consider that your e-commerce platform should either have some content management tools in and of itself, or it should be flexible enough to integrate with a third-party content management platform. The ECF does both of these things. So the ECF actually has its own CMS built in that will allow you to update the content. It has a WYSIWYG editor to allow you to update pieces of information, images, and other content on your website. But it also is flexible enough to allow you to integrate with other systems. So if you happen to be using a third-party content management tool like .NET Nuke or Sitecore or Episerver, it'll give you the flexibility to be able to integrate with one of those platforms so that really you can have the best of both worlds. You can have a leading commerce platform in the ECF and a leading CMS platform in whatever it is that you might choose. And we've had a number of customers that have taken that approach as well and basically taken our commerce framework and integrated it with their CMS platform of choice. And then sort of the sort of end of all this, so once you've got your catalog, you've designed your promotions and displayed your content on the website, the next part is actually to capture orders and be able to process those orders. So the ECF provides a number of tools to be able to allow you to manage those orders, view that order information, so that whether you have customer service representatives or folks assigned to actually managing the orders, you can process those payments, you can process the shipments, do things like printing, pick and pack lists. So there's a lot of functionality there. You'll be able to process your returns and exchanges, again, all within a single interface. So it's an extremely powerful tool to be able to allow you to do that type of order processing. On the other hand, for those of you that either have existing e-commerce platforms or have existing back office software, whether that's an ERP solution, a fulfillment management software, or a CRM system, the ECF is extremely flexible so that any of that order information that is captured, whether that's information about a customer, information about shipping, payments, whatever it might be, that information can be very easily integrated into a back office system. So whether that's something as simple as QuickBooks or a full-blown warehouse management or inventory management system, it's very easy to do that as well. But again, the point being that you want to be able to have a commerce platform that is flexible enough and powerful enough that's going to allow you to process your orders and manage your orders. And then lastly, the last part here before I pause for a moment, is you want to make sure that you're prepared for market trends, and I also mentioned before integrations. So we've touched on a couple different points of integrations, and this is a key point to the ECF itself, but certainly is something you're going to want to consider regardless of what e-commerce platform you select, is that there are going to be integrations regardless of how complex or how simple your e-commerce site is going to be. At the bare minimum, you're going to be integrating likely with some sort of a payment gateway and some sort of a shipping provider. But as your e-commerce application grows and you have new information, new customers, you may be adding new systems. You may be adding an ERP solution or a CRM solution. You may start integrating for customer ratings and reviews. I've listed a couple examples of all those here. And certainly there is software and applications unique to the media and retailing industries such as Abe, Google eBooks, certainly Amazon is one as well, where you can resell through Amazon. And again, really the overarching point here is that the ECF is designed to enable really any type of information integration through a number of different means. So we are all about enabling choices. We're never going to say to a customer, look, you have to do this integration a certain way. We're going to offer you a number of different options about how to accomplish that. But again, the overarching point here is to make sure that your e-commerce platform, whatever you select, is going to have the flexibility and control to allow you to have different types of integrations. Even if they're not important today, they're going to be important tomorrow. And then as for some of the industry and market trends, again, following along those lines of integration is extensibility and making sure that your platform is extensible enough and flexible enough to add new types of features, new types of interfaces for the new market trends. And two of those that relate particularly to commerce are mobile, which is the #1 area of growth within the e-commerce industry itself. Mobile shopping was about $396 million in 2008, and it was $1.2 billion in 2009. So think about that amount of growth in just a single year, and the expectation is that it's going to be almost $119 billion by 2015. So that is just enormous, enormous growth in the mobile channel alone, which again is something that you're going to want to make sure that you're prepared for. Whether or not it's important today, it's going to be important for you tomorrow. The other is social. So when we talk about social, we mean Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, you name it. And over 50% of the fastest growing retailers today, as identified by Internet Retailer, have some sort of an integration with Facebook. And there's a number of reasons for doing this, and they do it for, not everyone does it the same way, and it's going to depend on your business and your business model as to what will be the best way to do that. But some of those might be for social intelligence, meaning using that social networking site or that social media to get information and make decisions based off of that information. Others would be to share assets, so essentially creating rewards or discounts or deals that are based on either participation or some activity in one of those social channels. And then the other would be social buying. So this is things like Groupon and things of that nature where you're actually participating with a group of others to make a purchase and getting some sort of a discount or deal based off of that. So those, again, are all things that you're going to want to make sure that you are prepared for and that the ECF is well positioned to handle. So we were going to give a demo, but I know we're, in the interest of time, we're going to save that to the end and let anybody who would like to see that stick around at the end. But right now, we're going to talk about a couple of solution examples. And these are primarily examples that Glaser Technology has worked on. There are 3 that we'll show you: Printers Row Books, Mainstage, and Act 1 Cafe. And there's one other we'll talk about as well. But I'm going to hand things over back to the guys at Glaser, and they're going to talk about some of the specifics of these 3 sites and why they're relevant here. So let me change the presenter.
So just to give you some background on where Printers Row was when we started working with them, they were a primarily brick-and-mortar organization that was reaching a targeted audience through a mailing list and, originally paper mail and then eventually through email and so forth. They had fantastic inventory. They had a beautiful store. And they're in a lovely area of Chicago. If you're not familiar with Printers Row, it used to be where a lot of the publishing houses were, and now mostly it's converted to retail space. Fantastic store. However, they weren't reaching enough people to unload their inventory quickly enough. They had a website, but it wasn't really prepared to do the kinds of things that they wanted to do. So that's sort of where they were when we engaged with them. And I'll let Frank Alonso take over and talk to you about what he did.
Yeah. So this is a true retail to eTail implementation. Summer Pine is now able to, Printers Row Find and Rare Books is now able to give their customers the ability to shop by price, to shop by edition type, or to shop by whether the book is signed or not signed. We have various facets covering book condition, book type, whether it's hardcover, softcover. They can peruse authors, titles, and publishers. The back-end integration for this website goes end-to-end with their accounting package, so all transactions are handled in real time, and they are able to actually also offload their inventory to another electronic bookseller called ABE, which is owned by Amazon, and we're able to coordinate the inventory between the two locations so that they get a broader reach in terms of who they're selling their products to. I'll switch over to the theater. The main stage is a venue, a ticketing venue, and some of the things that we've provided for them are basically on the multimedia side. You'll see that there's a large banner where they're able to list their current promotions. Each band is we have the ability to highlight the artist, give links to the artist's website, play the music that the artist has available. The artists are also able to promote their the bands that are the opening bands. So in this case, we have Eli Noel opening for Just Godwin and Katie Gavin opening for Just Godwin. And if we drill into their pages, you see that all of the information is associated, so it doesn't really matter which performer you're buying tickets for. You're always able to see the full scope of the information. I'm going to switch over to the cafe, and the cafe is just a good example of what cataloging and CMS can do for you. The cafe is able to handle their menu in real time, so if they change their prices or take something off the board, they can just log into the Commerce Manager and remove that. They're able to have advertising for their current specials, and their specials board is available on the homepage.
And one of the things you'll notice on the Act 1 site and the Mainstage sites is that they're integrating into Facebook and Twitter and building a mailing list, retaining client information, customer information as people go to the site and want to be kept appraised of new shows that are coming in or updates to the menu and what have you. But that's sort of what Joe was getting at with the whole, everything starts to get socially integrated. As these guys go out and build their fan page and so forth, they start generating traffic that, traditionally, a theater in the good old days before the web is, relying on foot traffic and word of mouth. And restaurants, even today, have a hard time building up a fan base unless they're really utilizing social media to augment everything else that they're doing from a traditional marketing aspect.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and get exact statistics, but if we look at the viewership for all three sites, basically since we've launched them with ECF, being able to deliver meaningful content to the audience members in the web. I know for Printers Row, viewership on their site went from a few hundred visits per month to I think it's well over 10,000 now. It's just key to be able to deliver meaningful content to people and show and cross-sell.
And additionally, they saw a significant jump in sales once the e-commerce site went up and was active and got promoted a little bit. They were looking at about a 300% increase on a month-to-month basis from where they were at prior in the previous year.
With that, I think I'm going to turn over the presentation to Joe. So, great.
All right, thanks, guys. So let me just show one more. There's one more example that that we wanted to talk about here. Oops, sorry, I got back to the end of my slideshow. So let me skip back to where we're at. But that was a really good insight into a couple different examples. There was one more that we wanted to talk about, which is called CME on Call, which again is yet another site that's running on the ECF. It is a part of Learner's Digest International, and this may be of interest to those of you who are more on the publishing side than actually the retail side, because CME On Call is essentially a portal for doctors and those in the health industry to come and access information, to get training, and essentially it's all downloadable products, and it's all done by a subscription service. So basically, individuals, doctors, or healthcare professionals can come on. They can access an account. They can subscribe to particular publications, or they can download and purchase individual documents and also events as well. And again, this was there were some integrations with this one as well, with CyberSource, with Think Subscription Management, and with their legacy CRM system. So again, this is just another example that the ECF can actually be used for a number of different types of e-commerce, not only traditional B2C commerce like was done with the Printers Row, Mainstage, and Act 1 sites that Greg and Frank just talked to you about, but it can also be used for more B2B, subscription-based selling, and other uses as well. And we're getting towards the end here, so hopefully we've still got everybody's attention. A couple other things we just wanted to talk about was our offerings as Mediachase and Glaser. So I'll let Frank and Greg talk to this slide, and we'll give you a little bit more detail then into what Mediachase does and what our platform does.
Well, we'll keep the commercial to a minimum, Joe. Essentially, the company's been around since 1975, so we've done a fair amount of evolving over the years. Originally starting out with purely custom application development, then we moved into IT services and became infrastructure experts, and then in this decade have started moving into website development and architecture. Largely, the areas where we focus are not on vanity sites, but on sites that require a platform like Mediachase, where the company actually wants their website to do something productive for them. It's not just a pretty picture to hang up to draw traffic. We're very proficient in integrating that platform with existing applications or with new applications. Joe mentioned, as you add things like CRM in, and then obviously as a sort of side, expertise on this, we've developed a significant amount of knowledge about SEO, and so we consult with our clients to sort of increase their traffic and get specific traffic in that's relevant to their business.
Great, thanks guys. And yeah, for everybody, just to give you a brief introduction to Mediachase, as we said at the beginning, we are solely focused on developing our e-commerce platform. And so really it's designed to be a true infrastructure for really any type of business's e-commerce or in their e-commerce site. So our idea is to offer that platform, allow our customers to build and extend off of the functionality that we offer out of the box, provide some powerful and easy-to-use interfaces, and really allow them to launch multiple applications or multiple sites off of the single platform. And all of it, again, is based off of Microsoft technologies and best practices. Rather than going into too much detail, we did, as I mentioned before, I want to show you just a quick demo of some of the functionality of the ECF. So I'll do that briefly. I hope this isn't too small to see, but I'll quickly walk through a couple things here and highlight some of the areas that, again, that were relevant that we talked about during the presentation. So if we look here into our catalogs, you'll see that, oops, got to log in here quickly. But one of the most important areas, as I mentioned, is the notion of catalog management. And the ECF has an extremely robust set of features when it comes to managing your catalog. It is going to allow you to not only update individual products, but also do things like catalog import and export via a number of different formats. It's going to allow you to have different types of products as well. So if we come in here and we've got some sample products, for example, some books, things of that nature, You can come into, you can have as many catalogs, many categories as you want, and then be able to actually edit the content and information about any individual product that you might have. So you'll be able to manage all of the information. You'll be able to do that in multiple languages. You'll be able to manage your SEO and your associations as well. This was something that was particularly important that, that Frank and Greg touched on in relation to the Act 1 and main stage sites, where essentially a product could be, a particular event or a band or someone that's performing at the cafe, and then you can relate those products to one another. And that same model would carry through regardless of what products you're selling or marketing. It could be books, DVDs, digital downloads. The ECF will be able to support really every type of product you might want to have. In addition to that, we also have order management. So again, this is all self-contained within the same interface, but basically what it will allow you to do is view not only just your orders, but you'll also be able to track and report on things like your abandoned shopping carts. So if users come to your site, they add something to their shopping cart, but they don't actually check out, you'll be able to report on that, send them an email to say, hey, I've noticed that you added these 10 products to your cart but never checked out. Could we offer you a discount or promotion, whatever it might be. But from the bare bones perspective, you'll see that, again, all this is self-contained with the ECF. You'll be able to manage your orders here, be able to release shipments, and then once you have those shipments, you'll be able to process returns, print, pick, and pack lists. So again, there's a lot of functionality here within the order management area. The last area to show you guys is promotions. So again, as we talked about, essentially 2/3 of customers shopping on the web today expect to get some sort of a promotion or discount when they're browsing and shopping on the web. So we offer a number of different ways to do that. We have promotions that can be, and discounts and coupons that can be assigned to individual items, to the order as a whole, and to your shipping charges. So there's a number of different ways you can entice customers. All of those discounts can either be percentage or value-based, and you'll see we have a number of different types and ways to offer promotions. So essentially through this interface here, you can create different types of promotions and assign those either to particular users, a particular item, or to somebody's shipping or something like that. So that's sort of the extremely high level of it. Again, I don't want to get into too much detail in the interest of time. So at this point, I think what we'd like to do is open it up to questions or comments that people might have. Is there anything that anybody would like to ask or talk about? I guess the best way to do that would be to ping us by the little chat window, and we can unmute someone if they have a question. I guess we'll take that as not having any questions there. In that case, I guess we can wrap things up. We will, I think, as we mentioned when we were. Oh, sorry, maybe we do have a question here. Hold on. It said, someone asked about, will we be making the presentation and slides available online? Yes, we will. So we will follow up by an email and make all of this, the information, both the presentation and the recording available to everybody online. Any other questions that anybody might have? All right. Well, in that case, like I said, we can wrap things up. There's a question about when is the next webinar. We are planning on doing these webinars approximately every 6 to 8 weeks. So we will we'll keep everybody informed as to when the next one is coming. And certainly we really appreciate everybody for taking the time to listen and participate in the webinar. If there's any questions that anybody has after this or would like to learn anything in more detail about either Mediachase and the ECF or Glaser Technology or frankly just anything e-commerce related in general, I mean, the bottom line is that we're here to help. We'd love to offer our advice or insight to any of you if there are any additional questions. So really, please do not hesitate to contact us. There's a couple, myself and Greg's contact information is listed here. But if there's anything else, please feel free to reach out to us.
And Joe, if they'd rather contact Frank directly, his email is essentially the same as mine, but Frank at instead of Greg at, and he can be reached at the same number.
Great. Well, thanks to Glaser, thanks to Frank and Greg for helping us with this, and again, thank you for everyone to take the time out of your day to participate with this with us, and we hope to talk to you all again soon. Thanks very much. Have a great day, everybody.